Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. And you are here again. Again. You know what we're doing, right? This is UK Outpost 31. That's right. Episode 2. Episode 2. And I'm your host, Dan Nostalgia. That's right. That's right, baby. And today, we're covering Demons, directed by Lamberto Bava, and casting Calzini, Natasha Hovey, Urbano Berini, and we've got plenty of music. In this, as we go down the concept materials, is appealing to the Western audience by the plot, music, and the stereotone. And the plot basically starts off with a group of people who were invited to a viewing, cinema tickets, and once they're given their tickets, they turn up, they take a seat, unaware of what they're watching, unaware of what's going on, and before you know it, demons have come to reality, come to life. And yeah, it's B-movie thinking, and it's a B-movie style and idea, but it still goes there. And then these people find that they're stuck inside this thing, cinema, with these people who are now becoming demons. So that is the general plot, and it's a survival game from there, as most horrors often become. The film offers no concept of the origin of the cause of the outbreak, only the masked man in Act 1. The film marginally falls under a zombie-like demons, rather than the individual thinking creatures, almost a confusing tone, so you're not quite sure. The blood, the violence and the carnage, despite the film's budget on the makeup, the mechanical components and the effects for a B-movie, it's standard practically during the 1980s, 70s and 80s. This was 99%. And you had the stereotypical characteristics of certain personas being portrayed in a certain way. And I think that's just a time of how certain characters were in horror movies. Got the hero-esque storyline for the main protagonist, George, always trying to do the right thing, protecting the females and people around him and putting their safety first. And then he's the, like I said, protagonist that carries the film. The movie posters in advertised theatre lobby of the place is apparently this well-known and respected horrors, which I have to look into since I call myself a horror fan. The genre is blood. Yeah. Reminds me purely of mint sauce. Makes me think of a Sunday roast. Yeah, that green blood from the demons. Yeah, it just reminds me of a mint sauce. The Sunday roast. Anytime. The film, given off the vibe of a B-movie production, but takes nothing away from the plot and almost feels ridiculously enjoyable, which with an unpredictable ending. Other scenes of the film borrow heavily from predecessors in the genre. Bava is no different to Romero or other pioneers. Only adds a European charm of horror nostalgia, should we say, no pun intended. Also, there is a lot of American ideology for horror style cinematography, plot and synopsis, which, yeah, it's got that feel about it. The sense is there, you know it's about. With then you know, it's the obvious skeptic character, always been a change of heart until the situation comes around. It's always those characters who don't want to believe what's going on. They refuse it to believe it, they're stubborn, and then when hits a fan, things change. Yes, it does. But then there's a total irony with the powdered narcotics inside the Coke can itself, with a straw, the beverage, classic drinks. That part made me laugh at the gang as they're riding along the road. That was actually stood out in that way. Yeah. And then even Dario went as far as casting his own daughter, Fiona Agenti, as Hannah. And then obviously had a main role. The gang leader with an orthodox and unexpected name, Hot Dog, which went over my head at first, but when you own it, you you carry on, you want to wear that name, you carry on. Now, it was something that my provocative notion was telling me, Barbecue City here, was that the theatre having its own mind when the hoodlums needed a place to hide from the police when they were on the run, when the building door opened and give them an escape. And then, well, the rest. You know, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, as we already warned. And the other provocative notion, number 2, that got my spider senses tingling, is who would go to great lengths to organise a picture show, invite people to a viewing, block the doors from the outside of the theatre, and allow or unleash a demon among unsuspecting guests. Then onto the city like some apocalyptic hell. So, who do you think was responsible? I mean, I don't know if it was ever covered. I'd never really gone around to seeing the sequel yet of Demons 2. So I need to get a glimpse on that, and maybe the answers are there. Tell me, folks. Give me a heads up on that one. Right. Filming locations took place in Rome and Berlin in the summer of '85. It was mainly in a building in Germany that was being used as a nightclub. And, wow. And other things, conventions, and so forth. Dario Argento and Lamberto Bava both co-wrote the screenplay. So they were both in on this. How they can put their style, they can put their tone and mannerisms to certain characters, which helped. And the story being written by Dardando Saggetti was distributed by Titanus with an 88-minute runtime. Now, I didn't pick up on the runtime quite as yet. I think I might have I've caught the film about 3 or 4 times within the past 8 months. So I'll have to check that one. The story originally planned for a 3-part horror anthology by Sacchetti. Bava adapted the stories into a feature. Dario Argento brought in Franco Farini to pen the screenplay. The film was shot in 9 weeks, June of '85, so it was shot in a good time, really. The idea of having the demon's eyes glow in the film came to Bava on set. Said filming a scene where demons approached the camera invited the actors wearing reflective paper, which caused the effect. You don't really notice it, but now that you know this, you may see it differently. I did after collecting the facts. Special effects were handled by Sergio Stivaletti, who worked on Argento's opera, which I've still got to put on my hit list to watch. The film's release date in its native Italy was on the 4th of October, being at just a good few weeks shy of Halloween. Critics tried to praise the film, but met with a mixed reception on its reviews, holding a score of 66.6 on a 10 out of 10 on an IMDb, which is not sitting well. Well, sitting average to a degree. Demons 2 was released then, October the 9th, on 1986. Bava spoke of a second sequel as early as January of 88, claiming to name the film The Return of the House of the Demons. It was another name in Italian. I'm not going to go there. I'll let you figure that one out for yourselves. But I've given you the translation. That was about it. Later, the project changed hands, being directed by Michelle Sovasi. I'm going to kill that name, sorry. Renaming the title The Church. Bava's television film, The Ogre, was released outside of Italy as Demons 3, which carried the same title. And that really did go there. They had their plans and certain things didn't happen. That's just the way it goes sometimes, and I'm kind of unfortunate. I'd like to have seen where they had gone with that. But then, it's the way the twist of the tale. Box office earnings totaled into 1 million lira from the film's shoestring budget. In 1986, the film was released over in the US, France, and Hong Kong, except the UK. Well, kind of missed out there, you know what I mean? It's like being last at the barbecue and find out the best part of the grill is being gone. It's reduced to bones. It's in the bin. Or the dog's chewing on that. The film, being a B-movie, carried a slight comedic element at times. With the first act, the dialogue and the script was on par with horrors at that time. You know characters to be set to be full bad the moment you just realise what's going on. Bava could be the European counterpart to Wes Craven, John Carpenter and Sam Raimi during the 1980s and 90s horror catalogue. Him and Argento, both of them could be. Why not? They both carry a degree of pedigree that carries their films. So yeah, I could run with that, and I would co-sign that. But the music obviously come from UK and US. We wouldn't go like Go West, Billy Idol, and other forms, and other popular acts from the 1980s making up the soundtrack. So it was just like a compilation that they was just laid over the top of it and just run with. The sequels having a similar storyline, horror cliches and tone, which carries for a lot of other movie franchises, the horror franchises as well, who do the same thing. It's that paste and repeat trick. So I'm hoping it's not that, but this is hope it's not a disappointment. So let's tell me if I'm in for a disappointment, folks. The film, or the year of '86 with the film, it was a lot of films that year with some classics like Top Gun, Highlander, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Aliens, Stand By Me, Labyrinth, Platoon, Crocodile Dundee, The Fly, Short Circuit. That's just to name a few. That's just to name only a few, because there was a lot of films out in that year that crushed it, and I grew up and yeah, I'd seen a portion of those films. Not that in that year, a year or two after maybe, you know, Short Circuit, The Fly, Crocodile Dundee, Aliens, Top Gun. Yeah, but this film went under the radar probably because of such titles. So we know that it's punching above its weight when for how well it does. When you look at B movies of the same era, different decades, got Killer Clowns from Space, The Blob, Wicker Man, Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Exorcist, Evil Dead, Cannibal Holocaust, The Omen, Psycho, and the Night of the Living Dead. These are all B movies. They've been made into franchises. They've all made money. They've all been repeated. They've been recycled. And they still keep coming back. You can't buy this. Can't buy the franchises. So I think Demons is set for a return. That's my Nostradamus theory on that one. Agenda also worked with Tom Savini, who played Tech Machine from Dusk Till Dawn. And he was a makeup artist, and he's featured on many horror films, and he's featured as an actor too, which helped, gave him experience. You've got Garetta and Bobby Rhodes, who often still attend horror conventions, and they still ain't age much. I watched a video on them, and they still look the same. They still look pretty similar. They're still getting roles, and that's how they still carrying themselves. I'm thinking that's brilliant. Well done. I still got to get an autograph off those guys. That'd be great. So, when it comes to horror, folks, I always lean towards B-movie section, the practical effects, rather than the big budget horrors of today. Sure, won't win any major awards, won't for plot or prosthetics, but definitely wins that nostalgia cult following. You know what I mean? Despite many reviews since its release of October 1985, a high percentage have highlighted any plot holes continually and special effects, which only serves it as an imperfect film. Sure, it carries its faults. That's what gives Demons that appeal of curiosity to enjoy such an imperfect movie. So that's how it is. And I'm going to give this film a 3.5 rating. So, ask, what have you been watching? What have I been watching? Sure, I've been catching up on some old school films lately. Yes, catching up on some old school films. Been watching Jaws, Carrie. Yeah, been catching up on some old horrors. And been reading Richard Leland, The Cellar, which is it's an interesting book. And just coming to the end now of the end of the season 1 for Ryan Reynolds and Rob Elney. Welcome to Wrexham. So it's looking rather good. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode of UK Outpost 31, and this has been my review. So I hope you like, subscribe and comment, and tell me honestly, get back to me, because I'm going to be coming back with episode 3, and we're still going to be got more in the pipeline. So I'm going to wish you the best of days, best of weeks. Hope everything falls right for you. God bless. Goodbye. Thank you.